Welcome to visionplusmag.com, the #1 eyewear portal to eye care and eyewear fashion.
I think the time in India is now so different from earlier times that consumers have become very evolved, and they see a lot of difference between brands and products as well. And the most important part is that they're ready to experiment, and that's why organic or homegrown brands, as we all say, have a very strong future in India, and consumers are adopting to it. Mostly the fact is that these are made specifically for India. They have all the characteristics that a typical Indian consumer needs, whether it's a fitment, whether it's a color, whether it's the look and the feel. And I think on the quality aspect, all the homegrown eyewear brands are, honestly speaking, at par or even better quality than the international brands, and there's no dispute to the fact that this is true. Including like stuff like that we do at Opium. All our lenses in our sunglasses are hydrophobic, oleophobic, they're back AR coated. These are exhibited by very premium international brands. Now imagine an Indian consumer getting all these premiumness into a homegrown brand at a price which is affordable, and the brand is aspirational as well. So just naturally that is a transition which a consumer brings in and gets into, is to get the best of the world at an Indian price, at the same type of perception that an international brand brings in. So I think that is one of the main reasons why consumers are liking homegrown brands, and that's also something for our trade partners, our general eyewear trade needs to understand, because I think there's a lot of sense of resistance sometimes we face. Not always, it's changing though, but the fact that foreign and Indian, that's how people view us and similar Opium and similar brands that are trying very hard to really make the trade understand that the consumer is evolving, and the trade should also evolve. Like the whole part of even the Prime Minister's initiatives of Make in India or Designed in India and stuff like that, that's really now grown into consumers. And most of the trade partners also, when they are doing their own consumer purchases on different product lines, I'm sure they're also going into this whole Indianness or design in India kind of situation. So I think that resistance of Indian brands, homegrown brands, are not as great, or are totally different to so-called international brands, is something that is already changed in many industries, and in eyewear is also changing. A typical example is luggage, for example, in India. Mokobora, for example, is a great homegrown story which has been very successful. Similarly, for eyewear, at Opium, we do everything that is constantly changing, and we change that constant to evolve into something that the consumer is requiring at different points of time. So, lens innovations, frame material innovation, design-led thinking, tying up with larger brands on a collab basis. These are all things that consumers really look up to, and I think that's the reason why homegrown brands are now becoming very important in the overall eyewear business, especially for India. But when you look at even China, for example, Chinese homegrown brands are bigger than international brands in China. That's a strong testament to the feel that if you give the right product at the right price, then the consumer is willing to buy it independently where it comes from. And it's even more nationalistic pride if we say that it's an Indian, then why not? So I mean, that's the main reason why homegrown brands have a great future in India, and they will constantly go on challenging the status quo of Indian versus international. And I think the way to go for most opticians is that to have a strong emphasis on homegrown brands. And there'll be multiple in those. Like traditionally, for example, we don't have any sports homegrown brand in India. Now that's a great future. I mean, everybody who wants sports eyewear doesn't necessarily need to spend 7, 8, 10,000. Why not a 1,500 rupee sports homegrown brand in India? So I think the future is very bright. Homegrown brands are the way forward, and consumers are realizing this faster than the opticians. So my earnest request to my trade partners, my friends who've been with us for so long, is that look upon us as even better than the international brands, and we will offer the stores, the opticians, even more choices to offer to the consumers, and it will be more profitable for all of us. Thank you.